What's going on, guys? Arne Giske here. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about something super important, and that's how to understand your money mindset, how to upgrade your rates, how to stand in that new confidence, and make sure that when you are getting that new confidence, people are actually paying you those new rates. So I've got some cool stories for you guys today, and if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you guys free access to a 5-day money mindset and marketing challenge that will take you through each one of these shifts even more in depth and help you in so many ways. So I'm really excited for you guys to be part of this one. This is something that really hits home for me because it's something that I had to go through myself. You know, so many entrepreneurs, they might not have the strongest money mindset, and it holds them back in so many ways. So let me get this video shared out to the event page real quick, and we will jump right in just a second. So if you guys are hyped up for this video, let me get some noise in the comments, and we will jump right in. So let me make a post on this event page, and we will get it rocking. All right, so I want to be covering 3 main things with you guys today. The first one was how I tripled my rates, or not tripled, 10x my rates, like Grant Cardone, 10x my rates as a freelancer, and never went back. So I want to take you guys back a couple years to when I got started out in the online business space, and when I was really struggling to put the right pieces together in everything I was doing. So when I was getting started, I was doing some agency services, I was doing some copywriting, I was doing some email marketing, and I was helping out a lot of e-commerce stores. So I would help out these e-commerce stores, and I would run their campaigns, I would put the campaigns together, I'd do all these split tests, I would do all this stuff, and you know, help them make some sales. But I was only charging a couple $100, $200, $300, even $50 to create like a MailChimp template for them or something like that. And that's obviously not sustainable. That's not paying my bills. I was barely scraping by. So I had to first up uncover something that would shift me into a new playing field. So this is a little bit more to do with the marketing than it does to do with the mindset, but both happen at the same time. So the very first thing I did was I started looking back at those clients that I was working with. What things did they have in common? You know, a lot of these people, they had smaller email lists, and they weren't selling a lot of stuff. They were newer stores, and they weren't really in the position to receive the value that I had to bring. So even though I was doing all this work for them, I was you know, really trying my best, and I was stuck charging those little rates, because every time I tried to charge higher to those types of people, it didn't work. They weren't ready to roll. They had to get a lower price deal to make anything go through. So I thought that was on me. I thought that was my fault. I thought I wasn't good enough. I thought my offer were too expensive. No, I was talking to the wrong people. So how I 10x my rates came down to one really cool project. So I was using some of those freelance sites. Like, have you guys ever used like Upwork or Guru.com or any of those? I was using Guru.com, and I remember I saw some job posting for an online store. They needed an email marketing specialist, and there was like 50 applications in there or something. I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm gonna put my name in the hat. I'm gonna give this a shot. And so I wrote up a little pitch to them. You know how you can write those proposals for them? And so I wrote up this pitch, but I didn't include my pricing. So I chatted with them. I gave them a pitch. I laid out a strategy, laid out, you know, what I had been doing for some of these other past clients. And I almost immediately, like within a couple of hours, got a response back, and the guy said, I want to talk to you. You have something that everybody else on here doesn't. So I got on the phone with this guy the next day, and I just started learning a little bit more, figuring out what he had going on, and I realized they had a list of 90,000 people that I could send an email to and try and sell some stuff. So one email in my previous clients to a list of, you know, 1,000 people or even 5,000 people versus a list of 90,000, I can send the same type of email and it would make one client way more money. So I had this realization that it wasn't me. It wasn't on me that you know, I wasn't too expensive. I wasn't you know, wrong or inexperienced. It's that my talents weren't being put to use in the right places. So I had to shift my level of self-worth to step up to the plate to those new clients who could be in the position to receive the value that I had to bring. So that's where it was a shift of both marketing and mindset. So if you guys are watching this right now, let me get a comment down below. Just say yes. I want to make sure you guys are listening, taking some notes. So what happened next was, once I figured out they had a list of 90,000 and they could really benefit from what I had to offer, I did something crazy and I charged them 10 times what I was charging my other clients. I thought, you know what? I did the math. They're going to make a ton of money no matter what I do. I could bomb this campaign, send out some offers, and they're going to make a ton of money. So I charged them 10 times as much, and I kind of held my breath. I was like, gave them the price, and they were like, cool, sounds doable, send me an invoice. And I was like, what? Like, it was crazy, it's unreal, right? But from that point forward, I realized that I could stand in that new position, that new confidence, and find more people who had characteristics like them. So if you guys are ever facing, a lot of rejection or a lot of price resistance, or people saying that you're too expensive, you shouldn't be charging that much, you shouldn't do this, blah, blah, blah. It's a reflection of them, not on you. Now it's your job to figure out who can pay you 10 times your current rates, who can pay you 5 times your current rates. They're out there. They're out there, guys. Trust me. So I want you guys to go and write down some of the characteristics of your past clients and what are those things that limited them from being able to pay you way more and receive that extra value. So there's your first action step for today, guys. Also, don't forget, we are doing a 5-day money mindset marketing challenge pretty soon. So if you guys want access to that for free, just make sure you type challenge down in the comments. I would love for you guys to be a part of this and have some of the same breakthroughs that I had. So does that sound good? All right, let me get a quick water real quick, and we will keep going. All right, so next up, I want to tell you guys about a time when I was almost about to quit my business entirely. So this is a little bit before that 10x rates time. I was a few months into it. I was really struggling, and even though I was doing all the things that everybody says to do. I was, being active. I was networking. I was on social media. I was doing this. I was doing that. I was getting people on calls consistently. So that was almost 3 years ago on the dot. That was March 2016, and I had 12 consultation calls. 12 calls. Guess how many of them I closed? Zero. Terrible. And after every no, after every rejection, after every time that somebody said that's too expensive, or I don't believe in you guys, I don't want to work with you guys, whatever, it just kept hitting me hard. Every single no, every single time that happened, I felt like I wasn't good enough, that it was on me, that it was all my fault, that all these things, that I don't deserve the money, that I'm not good enough, all this type of stuff. So that is natural. In business, rejection is very, very natural, and you got to learn how to roll with the punches. So I had to start understanding that however I was thinking and communicating and operating, and who I was communicating to was really not the right person. So I almost quit. I started looking for jobs online. I started asking my friend who was a recruiter, and he helps people get jobs, and I chatted with him, and he said, Arne, you're not an employee. You're an entrepreneur. You just need to get out of your head and fix your stuff. You need to get back in there and close some deals. So I was like, I know, you're right. All right, so I got to get back on the horse and keep it moving. So that got me out of the idea of, quitting, and then it moved me into the idea of how do I make it happen. So that's another big shift as well I want for you guys. Anytime you think about quitting, throwing something away, scrapping a project, whatever it is, when that's your thought process, that takes up so much emotional and mental bandwidth, and it stops you in your tracks. It makes you want to find a way out instead of finding a way to power through. So if you can have that power through mindset at all times of I am going to make this work. I'm not looking for an out. I'm going to bring this to reality, and no one's going to stop me. Now my question is, how the hell do I do it? So I want you guys to think about that for a second, and think about the power through mindset, and then also think about why you didn't have that before. So a lot of times this comes from a lack of confidence. So I want to share with you guys a really cool exercise around building your confidence. All right. So confidence is number 2, guys. There's no way you're going to 10x your rates if you don't have confidence. You know what I mean? So I was at that point where I had all those failed calls, and I wanted to not have more failed calls. I wanted to close some deals. I wanted to make some money. I was fighting through it, and I was ready to make it happen, but there was still a whole lot of stuff floating around in my head. So I was very challenged by this, because I knew that if I kept operating and thinking the way I was going to continue to be stuck and not closing deals, not growing my business. I would have to get a job. So I was like, hell no, that's not what I'm about. I need to get this fixed. So I talked to a good buddy of mine who had been running a similar business for a few more years, and we had this long chat. And what we figured out was, number one, my offer wasn't bad. My lead generation wasn't bad. I had 12 calls the month before. I was doing pretty good. I was getting people on calls, but every single one that came on, they didn't want to work with me. And it came down to my communication, and it came down to my mindset. And because I was hungry, because I was like hungry in a bad way. Like I don't know if you guys are in sales at all, but you might have heard the term commission breath. That's when you're talking to someone and all they can hear is the commission breath coming off of your mouth. It's like, it smells so bad, because you can tell that somebody's just out to get your money, not actually help you. So I was having that like bad, because I was having all these bad calls and no deals closed. I was spewing commission breath all over the place, and that's obviously not going to help me get some clients. So I had to go through an exercise to fix my confidence, and that's what I want to take you guys through right now. So if you guys are hyped up for this exercise, it completely shifted my entire business mindset, helped me get more clients. Just go ahead and type confidence in the comments below. I want to make sure you guys are listening, pay attention, ready to take some action on this, not just watching for entertainment. I want you guys to make some serious shifts. So if you're ready for it, go ahead and type confidence down in the comments, and we will get right into it. So what we had to realize was that a lot of the beliefs I had around myself, my offers, my worth, my team were false. And I had to understand that by having him, my friend, help me dive deep into these different areas and look at what I was communicating to myself. So the first rule of sales is you have to close yourself on the deal, on why you're worth it. Because if you don't believe you're worth it, nobody else is going to. If you're not clear on your message, nobody else is going to be clear. If you're not confident about the things you offer and the people you help and what you do, nobody else is going to be. So your first sale is to yourself, all right? So I had to figure out how to close myself on my own offers, all right? And you guys do too. So how I did this was I wrote down a lot of the stuff. Like he kept diving deeper and asking me questions around things like, how come you don't think you closed any deals last month? And I would say like, it was too expensive, or they didn't like my offer, or they didn't like this, or maybe we're not experienced enough, we're not good enough, maybe my team isn't as organized enough, all these different things. And so he kept pulling all these little statements out of my head of things that I believed about myself, my team, my offers, my business, and we wrote them all down. And then what we did is we wrote down the opposite statements. So for example, if one was, I'm not experienced enough, that is like a deep-rooted mindset thing around self-worth. And if you always believe that you're not experienced enough, you're never going to fully believe that you're worth 10x your rates. You're never going to fully believe that that client on the phone with you is going to pay you. You're never going to believe that you could do a great job for somebody. And that was the main root of it, was not being good enough. And that spills out onto all the other stuff. So with that as the main one, we had to figure out how to flip those statements upside down. So if it was, I'm not experienced enough, it had to get turned into, yes, I am experienced. Yes, I am talented. Yes, I am ready to help people. Yes, I can really change these people's lives and businesses. So I want you to think of some of those statements, what those might be for you, around why you think that last deal didn't close, why you aren't charging more, why you aren't stepping up as a leader in your space. And I want you to write down every single one of those statements and then spot the lie in them. Find a lie. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm like very logical in how I operate, how I make decisions. So I had to spot a logical lie in each one of those things. So like one of those, like, okay, I'm not experienced enough. So that if that was what I was feeling and thinking, what I had to do is point to myself all of the experience that I did have, all of the results that I did have, all of the other people that I have helped. And then I say, you know what? I am experienced. I really can help people because I did all this other stuff. And then it just kind of clicked in my head like, oh, okay, all right, cool. You know what? I am experienced enough. That belief starts to recede. Doesn't go all the way away, but it starts to recede bit by bit. And you have to convince yourself bit by bit. Every one of those statements is false. All right? And so when you have that big list, you have your big list of things that you are telling yourself, and then you have the big list of truth. That big list of truth is your guiding mantra in how you earn your confidence and convince yourself that you're worth it. All right? So what you have to do is you have that list. So now you have your old list of all the stuff you were telling yourself. You want to throw that out the window. You want to take that new list of all those truths, those things that now you know are true because the old statements have been proven wrong. You have figured out ways that those are incorrect statements, and you're moving towards the truth about yourself, your confidence, your office, your business, your self-worth, all these different things. And what you have to do is you have to, take that list. Like this is my list. Anytime you get on a sales call, all right, you want to get on before that sales call, maybe 10 minutes, something like that. And I want you to read that list out loud. Might sound a little funky. You might confuse your family members, your friends, whatever. But whatever, it doesn't matter. They're not paying the bills. You are. So you got to step up and you got to take that list of those new beliefs, those new truths, and read them out loud. Not just once, not just twice, but until you feel it in your bones. Until you know every single one of those statements is without a doubt 100% true. All right? So for example, if I had, the past belief of I'm not worth it, and then now it's turned into, yes, I'm highly skilled, I'm highly capable, That sounds all right. That sounds kind of confident. But if you're reading that out loud until you feel it in your bones, you start saying, yes, I am capable. I am confident. Yes, I am capable. I am confident. You're going to be like pumped up. You're going to be like ready to rock, So you have that whole list of things that you can say to yourself right before a sales call. Like I said, I don't care how silly you guys think this is. I want to see one of you guys do this before you get on a sales call, close the deal, and come back and say, you know what, it worked. Because it does. So that is one of the sickest exercises you guys can do to boost your confidence is scrap those old beliefs, find the new truths, and then repeat it to yourself until it sticks and there's no shaking that new truth. All right? So if that one is helpful, let me get a number 2 in the comments. Go ahead, just type number 2 down below. I want to make sure you guys are still hearing me, still with me on this one, and listening. So the next one, guys, is a really important one, is getting out of the paycheck to paycheck, month to month, 9-to-5er mentality. And this happens slowly, but as you step up as a business leader, you will start to make better decisions and habits around money, around charging, around self-worth, and it will start to stick over time and snowball. So get out the 9-to-5 mentality. So this is a big one because a lot of us, our parents weren't entrepreneurs. They didn't have businesses. They had steady 9-to-5 jobs their whole entire lives, right? And all of those thoughts, beliefs, habits around money stuck with us. And that just means that we are trying to operate like an entrepreneur, like an investor. And we're trying to create these big things, and we have these old constraints of how we talk about money, act about money, spend money, invest money, save money, all this different stuff. So it's really, really detrimental to our future if we stay in that 9-to-5 paycheck to paycheck mindset. So I've been helping somebody out with this a lot. Somebody I mentor who that's all they knew, especially because they were struggling in business so much. They were really scraping by, not making their bills, and really having to cut corners to get low-paying clients and just cover rent and food. And that's just really unhealthy for a lot of reasons. So we had to take them through some of these other shifts as well. But what I started to see bit by bit was more of their mindset shifting towards not just next month, not when the rent is due, not on tomorrow's projects, but how they're going to be setting themselves up for the entire year, for beyond the year, for how they're building skills, building network, building offers, and looking into the future, not just that next pay period that 9-to-5ers are used to getting paid in. And then they spend all their stuff, and then they're out of money again, and then they're scraping by, and that becomes the norm, especially if you haven't had a business before, or even if you had a job, if you had jobs and steady income for a long time and you shifted into business, you know how painful that could be. Or even if you got a business, but you don't have the best cash flow. You know, you're kind of scraping by, you're doing your thing, but you're not really making it big. You will still have this mentality of, how can I get paid for like tomorrow? Not what actions can I take today to set myself up for the future. So I want you guys on that exercise to think of 5 different ways that you've formed habits around money, self-worth, clients that has been short-term, that has been this 9-to-5 mentality of, how can I make more money by the end of this month, by the end of this week, by the end of tomorrow. I want you guys to write down 5 of those things and think about them, you know, take a look at those. And then I want you guys to write down 5 things that you are doing that are for the long term. I'm talking skill building, relationship building, audience building, offer building, credibility building, all these different things, and see which one is really soaking up more of your mental energy. So if you want to be a business leader, if you want to be a CEO, if you want to be successful long term, and your mental energy is still playing in this week-to-week, 9-to-5 mentality bullshit, I'm sorry, but you're going to be doing that for much, much, much longer. You have to start taking steps to move towards that visionary role, move towards that future-focused role, move towards becoming an actual business owner, not just a self-employed, broke-ass freelancer. Because I was there, and it sucks, and I don't want you guys to do that. I don't want you to be focused on next week. I want you to be focused on your next year, your next 5 years, 10 years plus, your legacy after you die. And you can't do that if your head is always in the place of next week's money and next month's bills. All right? So those are my 3 money mindset shifts for you guys. I want you guys to take them and use them and go through these exercises. I think this whole string is a little bit backwards, actually. We should probably start out with getting out of that mindset right here. So let's switch those up. 3, 2, 1, all right? Number 1, get out of 9-to-5 mentality by figuring out where you can put more of your mental energy and your thoughts and your actions into the future. Stop thinking and worrying so much about the short term. Well, how does that happen? Well, you got to get more money. Well, how do you get more money? First, you got to get more confidence. So go through that confidence exercise. Number 2 right here. And then last but not least, you got to boost up your rates. I don't care if you raise them by 20%, 100%, 1,000% like I did for that one project. Those are the steps. So first up, think long term. Step into your confidence. Really take ownership of that. And then change your rates. Start attracting higher caliber people who can pay you what you're actually worth, because you're worth a lot. And even if you don't know it yet, go through some of these exercises, look towards the future, and you will start to believe it. So I really hope this resonated with you and helped you in a few ways. Now it's up to you to take some action, all right? So go through those exercises, and if you want to dive a little bit deeper, get a little bit extra hand-holding throughout this, see some more mindset shifts you can take, and really dive deep into why you think the certain things you think, we have a 5-day free money mindset challenge for you guys and marketing challenge coming up very soon. And if you guys are curious about that, just make sure you go ahead and type challenge down in the comments. It'll be life-changing. Like I said before, guys, this is something you can't go back from once you do, and that's a good thing. All right. So if you want to step up as a leader, step up and earn more money, have more freedom, get out of debt, go on vacation, whatever the hell it is. You can't do that with a 9-to-5 mentality. You can't do that without confidence. You can't do that without raising your rates. So I really, really want to help you with this, and I can't help you unless you step up, unless you join this challenge, unless you take these steps I gave you in this training and do something with it. So you ready? You gonna do something with it? I hope so. All right, guys, go ahead, type challenge below. I'll get you hooked up with that free challenge, and I will see you on the other side. All right, bye, guys. Later. Have a good night.